I'm Shannon Boxx, former U.S. Women's National Team player. Won 3 Olympics, have been in 4 World Cups, and have 1 World Cup championship. I now am a owner of Ethos Mentality Group, which helps athletes transition out of sports. I also am part of the Regional Council for the Lupus Foundation of America, and I am a broadcaster for the U.S. Women's National Team Games. I didn't get my first cap till I was 26 years old, and I became the first uncapped player to make a World Cup roster, which was a whirlwind of a time. I had no idea that that was gonna happen, and I think for me it was just that I was very much into being who I was on the field. I didn't worry that coaches and staff wanted me to play a certain way. I remember being in my last camp and being like, just be you and play how you know how to play and enjoy the game. And I think that's what I did, and it ended up working out great for me. Being part of the national team was amazing. I played for 195 caps, almost to that 200th range, and I played for 12 years. And the whole time that I was playing, I think it was really important for me to represent being an African American woman on the team. We went through different stages where I was the only one on the team that had that background. And I think for me, it's really important to see it to believe it. And when I think about the young kids that were coming behind me, it was really important for me to represent that part of me. So it was a huge moment for me to be able to do that and to represent and to actually be the most capped Black woman. I'm gonna hope that that doesn't stay for very long. Within my career, I had a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of injuries. I tore my MCL and my ACL. I had hip surgery. I ended up obviously having 2 autoimmune diseases, Sjogren's syndrome and lupus. Going through those different stages, the thing that got me through all of it was the support that I had around me. So my family and my friends knew about my lupus diagnosis. No one else did, but when I told my teammates, it just became an entire different situation. I felt like I could play for so many more years because I finally had this support from who I felt they were my family as well, because I'd been on the team for so long. But I honestly feel like a lot of that resilience was because of the people around me supporting me and uplifting me. Oh man, when I look back at my career, and there's so many things that I'm proud of, but I think, the resilience piece, I think we talked about that before, but I just think from the way I made the team to the way I ended it, it was kind of these bookends of that epitomized like who I am as a person. Making it at 26 was so difficult. Ending at 15, I had lupus. I had my daughter right there with me. I ended it not on the field. I was a starting player my whole career until that year. And to have a different role and know that I still had so much to give and that I actually was a part of that winning team. I just think that there's just so many things, and it's who I've kind of continued to be after I've played. I think the resilience piece really shows who I am as a person. So Bridge City Soccer is a youth academy, an all-girls soccer academy that I helped start here with Rochelle Hearns here in Portland. And the idea behind it is obviously a soccer club, but we are so much more than that. We really value and use soccer as a vehicle to empower these young women. It's all girls, it's run by women, it's coached by all women, and so it gives us this feeling of a safe space for the girls to play in. And the leading thing is that we really focus on them as a whole person, not as just a soccer player. We do a lot of community impact, we do leadership, and we make sure that these girls understand that we're here for their journey and we want to help them along that path. If I had to give advice to coaches and parents in the youth game, is that I think that we just push our kids way too early and way too far. And I think we forget that the reason we play sports is for the enjoyment and for the lessons and skills that they can learn through playing sports. And so I think if we can have that mentality as parents, I get there too. I'm a very competitive person and I want my daughter and my son to do well. And sometimes I find myself pushing. So it's really just remembering like this is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. And I think when the kids enjoy it, they actually are gonna be more successful. So that's kind of the stuff that I would say is make sure the kids are having fun first and it will lead to great things. Being an athlete really gave me all the tools to do what I want to do now. The skills that have transferred over into the business world have been amazing. The resilience, the work ethic, the communication, the way I can lead, all of those things I learned because of playing sports for so long have now led into this new role that I mentioned before, broadcasting and being part of the Lupus Council, and obviously with my new company. There's so many things I need to learn, but because I've gone through so many different stages in my sport, being a new person, gaining experience, and being one of the veterans, it's the same thing when I'm in my business. One of the She Flies pillars is fitness for life, and I 100% have tried to do that in my life and show my daughter and show my son that just because I'm not now on the field playing, I still want to be fit and active. I just think, especially with lupus, it's such a big help for me to stay healthy. And I love that it is something that when things are going wrong, it's become, so important for me to go do that because it relieves a lot of that stress. So self-care, I know I talk about a lot, is so important. I think being fit for life really helps with that. Oh my goodness, my family is everything. I've mentioned so many times that the support that I've had away from the field and on all of the different issues that I've had with my autoimmunes and my injuries. My family is just everything. They've been such a big support. Being a mom is probably the hardest job I've ever had. I've had a lot of jobs, but being a mom is the hardest thing because you want to make sure that these little people grow up and understand and have the best values and are really those that really want to work hard. So I have a loving husband who has supported me through everything. There's been a time where he's like, I know what you did and you're so passionate about it. I don't want you just to jump into another job. I want you to go with what you want to do, and I'll be there to support you along the way. So I just have a great family. Family means everything to me, and I'm excited to see where my kids go eventually. I lived in California for most of my life. I went back to Notre Dame for college and immediately came back to Southern California. But obviously with so many of the different leagues, I've lived in all of these different states. And back in 2013, I really wanted to change where we live, my husband and I, and Portland was definitely on the map of where we wanted to go. I just love it up here. I knew it was a soccer community, and that was really important for me. We had a lot of great friends that already lived up here, and it was a place I came every summer during my college days. So we really just came here to have a new experience and be in a really great environment. And what we learned is we love it as a small city. Every single person we run into is as friendly as could be, and you couldn't get better than having the thorns and the timbers in your backyard and be able to go experience this beautiful game all the time. Athletes Redefined is my company. It's launched about a year ago, and the importance of it is that we help athletes, elite female athletes, transition out of sport. And so our mission is to empower these players and these athletes to find or create their own authentic path and equip them with the tools necessary so that they're successful beyond the sport. I played for so long. I retired when I was 38 years old. That's what I did. My identity was to be an athlete, and it was really emotionally and psychologically hard to kind of get out of that I'm not just an athlete, and what else am I really good at, and what else am I passionate about? And I think so many athletes go through this loss when they retire, and they don't know what they want to do next, and it's taking too many years to kind of figure that out. So I saw this as a problem. I knew it was a problem for me, and I really wanted to create the solution. And so Athletes Redefined is really the solution. We do a workshop to come in and help athletes figure out who they are and what they want beyond their sport. For those that want to learn more about Athletes Redefined, again, it's just about getting it out there. I'm now having athletes come to me, but you can go to ethosmentality.com and you can reach out that way.